Would you please make welcome David D. with the Elvis Tribute.
See right up, oh see here what you have done. Well I said see right up, oh see here what you have done. Now girl you made me love you, but now you love when it's gone. Hear what I said? Well I'm going away baby. Lord, I won't be back till fall. Well, I'm going away, baby. Lord, I won't be back till fall. If I find me a good girl, I won't be back at all. Hear what I say, play me. Yo. Lord, I won't be back till fall. If I find me a good girl, I won't be back at all. Hear what I say? Well, I said, see she right up. Oh, see what you have done. Well, I said, see she right up. Oh, see what you have done. Well, girl, you made me love you. Now you love him and it's gone. Hear what I say? Well, I say,
ladies and gentlemen, it is yet another episode of Rogan Radio from the friendly confines of Studio A in the luxurious confines of Casa La Rogan here in Lumberport, West Virginia. Full house tonight, as you can tell. We have an absolute full house. We have Chrissy. We have Clinton. We have Jimmy Whiz. We have Todd.
Yeah.
We have Derek. We have Brucey. We have Chad. We have Darren. They all had their headphones on looking for the mysterious what?
The mysterious...
It's over. We got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, don't you worry. We got it.
We got it.
It's all taken care of.
This is the first time in a very long time that we've actually had the entire crew in the same room at one time.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is the first time we've had everybody in the same room in a long time. Derek's back.
Yeah.
Jimmy's here. Todd's here.
Hey, I'm here.
Darren's here. Chad's here.
Brucey.
Brucey's here. Brucey's always here. He's like a rock solid.
I've never left you, bro.
No, there's been a couple.
There's been a couple times. I mean, Jimmy, he had to go down to Alabama. He was here last week.
I won't be here next week.
Oh,
You're already gone next week?
Yeah.
You're fired.
What kind of dedication to that is that?
I'm going to the beach, man.
Oh,
you just came back from.
you know what we got to do.
Hey, when you got my money, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Dang, boy.
That's a joke, by the way.
Are you going to
Not really.
You're going to Florida? Going to SeaWorld.
SeaWorld, yeah.
going to
Derek's
Michigan.
finally going to SeaWorld.
Gonna see the
finally.
world. Oh, awesome.
Fantastic.
You know what we ought to do is we ought to all plan our vacation the same week. That way we're all just going 1 week.
Yeah.
Hey, better than that, we could all go together.
Yeah.
Why don't we
That's
do that?
right.
You know what? Derek put up a post on Facebook there the other day. Actually, yesterday,
Yeah.
where the pool is at 90 degrees now. The water is 90.
It's like a bath.
92 right now.
Let me tell you something. I'm ready to go skinny dipping in that thing right now.
As long as the water's warm,
It's
we can
warm.
skinny dip. Not when the water's cold, Chuck.
Listen, this
He
is
just
water.
doesn't
92
want- he
degrees.
just-
How much
He
warmer
just
do
doesn't
you
want
need
anybody
it,
to see his
Todd?
acorn in a nest.
Oh, Jimmy. That is not.
Or your button on a fur coat.
Yeah.
Hey, let's give a little shout out here. We got people from Ohio, North Carolina, Florida listening in.
Randy
How about
Scott in
that?
Florida?
Randy Scott. What's up, Randy Scott? That's fantastic. Tonight, we're going to have a great show for the mere fact of we're going to talk about a big event happening down in Salem.
And, yeah.
I hear
That's
that.
not me, buddy.
And the big thing is, I don't want to call it midget wrestling.
Because that's what it is. You can, you
Yeah,
got,
I can't say that.
Micro wrestling or something like that. I
Little
think.
people
Little
wrestling.
people.
Is that
This
what-
weekend, on Thursday, July 20th, down in Salem, we have little people wrestling in the ring.
AKA Midget Wrestling.
Midget 316 just said we kicked your ass.
Clinton, I wish you could hear this.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and give tickets away.
Hey, we got to figure
Yeah,
out
we've got-
how are we going to give these tickets away, Chad?
Listen, folks, we got 3 tickets.
We got 3
sitting
tickets
right
tonight.
here
We're going to give away
for that.
Three.
For that
It's
event.
no joke.
And we're going to talk about the Ride for Life. We have the Bikers for a Cure in the studio with Chrissy and Clinton, and we're going to talk about this big event happening on August 12th, to where you can come up and ride. And one thing that every time it comes to cancer, period, it's affected everybody. There's not a person. It's almost weird. It's almost like the cold or the flu now, because everybody I know. I mean, it's killed my grandmother. I've had it. My dad's had it. Chad's wife died from it.
Oh, my grandfather died.
Chrissy.
from it.
You're
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Chrissy, so I didn't want to say that. I mean, without want to talk about it. We're going to talk about that because it's serious junk. And what's really nice about the entire the Ride for Life is, you know, you not only do you have a support group, but you also have this coming together to where funding comes along, which brings it to the forefront, and then obviously, hopefully, at some point, there's a cure for it.
Yeah, that's what
And
we're.
let me tell you something, with the crowd that they have for this ride, it is a show. I'm telling you, there's bikes from all over the place, and it gets attention. When people start seeing all these bikes that these two have put together with this ride every year, my God, it just brings it all straight to your face.
Absolutely.
Kevin Fowler said, "Let Clinton speak."
Clinton, speak.
Speak, Clinton. You have been summoned. Speak, sir.
Hello, Kevin. It's been just a couple minutes since I've seen you.
Where'd you see Kevin at?
From Andy Brothers.
From Annie's?
For Manny's. Yeah. Did he buy you dinner?
What's that?
Did he buy you dinner?
Oh, no, he didn't buy me dinner. He just come up and say hi, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's maybe next time.
Now, the first thing we're going to do, though, because what we did last week, Christian had his 16th birthday. And there's a friend of ours who's been a friend for ours since I moved to Lumberport. His name is Brian Morton. He does a show down in Harrisville
Called the Mort Report.
The Mort Report. And he had a birthday today. And so he put a little post on there
Do it
today.
by messenger.
did.
Yeah, call him up. We didn't even tell him we were going to call him.
Oh,
Well,
this
you know
is
what?
great.
We really need to get
Yeah.
we need to get him back in the studio one time. 'Cause
Yeah,
when
we
we
do.
had
We
him, I
haven't
think
had him
when
for a long time.
last time we had him in here had he had the Mort Report up yet, or was he?
No,
just,
he first started because he brought us T-shirts.
yeah, that's right. He was just baby though.
Let's see. Turn it up. Come on,
I
Brian.
love Brian.
Answer this, man. If you don't, you're a wuss.
What's up, David?
This
D?
is the
Call him.
Facebook Messenger.
We'll call him back every time if we have to. Come on, Brian.
Will this ring on his phone or just
Yeah.
if he's on Facebook?
Should.
That was a question.
No, it should ring on his phone.
It does on mine.
Does it?
Brian's
Oh, yeah.
probably out on a date with a
With
birthday
his
date.
hand.
Give it down. He is down in Harrisville, and the internet connection's kind of shoddy down there at times.
Yeah, you might not be reaching signals.
Yeah, so we're going to see.
I don't think he's going to answer. Gloria Mano, what's up?
We'll just
Gloria?
leave it like this. Oh, whoops.
What'd you do? Hang up on him?
No,
No.
it just quits ringing after a while.
Yeah.
Ghost message.
Okay. Well, shoot.
Sorry,
I wanted
Brian.
to sing him happy birthday. We'll call him back in a little bit.
He'll probably call back once he figures out who it was. Maybe he didn't recognize the number.
Or maybe he didn't recognize the name coming up.
No, he's probably like, hey, it's 20 after 7. Rogan Radio must have finally got up. And
We have this bad habit. And you know what?
We don't. Hey, listen, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong.
Everybody
Jim,
was
but
in
I think
here.
everybody was in here,
right,
and
you're
Chuck
right.
was in the other room.
The entire thing about Rogan Radio is it's not necessarily what you see now. It's what we do together that you don't see. And what I mean by that,
it's what he does, basically.
Well, no, I mean we have a pre-party party, and we go out and
And then we have a post-party party.
and we have a post-party party. But the pre-party party is we go out here and we talk about things. We BS. It's a gathering, and it's nice like that.
People
This
show
stuff,
up, you
this
know.
stuff is great and everything. This stuff is fun.
But if we could record everything we do out there on the deck,
That's
boy,
a show in itself.
People would really like the show.
That
I
is
think
a
they
show in
would,
itself.
yeah.
They actually heard.
higher ratings, probably.
Anyway, let's go around the room. Let's go
Anyway.
around the room because last week we did this and we had some texts. Alexander, oh my goodness, he was from Russia and he asked me. He was this is no kidding. I'll show you the text messages.
We'd love to see him.
Alexander from Russia. He is a stockbroker, and so he texts me because we have actually, believe it or not, a huge following in Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he ask you for money to send you your $1 million?
No, he didn't actually. We were just talking back and forth about the podcast. Believe it or not, I was kind of surprised about that because that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting to do a fishing
Did he
thing.
ask you if you're ever running for like president of Rogan Radio? He can hook you up, man. He can make sure you win.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, he is the godfather of the show. He has a couple dicks that they put in his neck there over at John Hopkins. He just came back. Tell us about what happened over there with the American Legion.
We had the American Legion State Convention down in Huntington this year, and I was selected as the Department of West Virginia Assistant Sergeant in Arms.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's
straight from
real
Lumberport
nice.
/Shinson. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round for the godfather, the D we like to call him, Darren Hartman. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause. Yeah.
Give a shout out to my cousin Janie Hardman Price, who's watching.
Yeah,
Thank you for
fantastic.
watching, cuz.
Yeah, it's about time you start getting some family involved.
Yeah,
over
there's
there.
some family watching.
Shirley, she's always on there, so
Yeah,
she's
mom,
pretty cool too.
my mom's watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carol wants to know if the Russian fella actually asked you to make Michelle a mail order bride.
Wow. Wow.
He said, "I'll hook you up."
Now listen, as you know,
break you.
Michelle and I, we're getting married here on October 14th, and she went
So far.
wedding gown shopping yesterday.
All
And-
day.
And all day long, and she still she hasn't picked out the right gown yet. But let me tell you this:
How hard can it be?
it could be pretty hard. She'll tell you that, and I'll tell you that too.
I'm talking about picking out wedding dresses, bro.
Oh,
All I got to say is the picture that I saw, that was the dress to go with.
Yeah, I saw
that
that
was-
picture. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but she can't go with it now because Chuck saw it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you see it, it's bad luck, right? If you see the
We're
bride
not
in her,
allowed to see that.
yeah, you're not allowed to.
yeah,
groom.
right. Now
We are.
I'm not sure how in the hell Chad saw that.
I saw it too, bro.
You saw it too.
Yeah, it was sent to all of us, dude.
I actually sent a picture out of Michelle trying on because Michelle is beautiful.
Why were you there?
In my eyeballs, anyhow. She's absolutely that's why we're getting married. I love her to death, and I swear to God, there's not going to be there's just something about it's perfect.
He drugged her.
and I drugged her, and she's beautiful. And I saw this picture of her trying on these wedding gowns, and I'm like, oh my, this is going to be. I can't imagine what she's going to pick out the day that we do get married.
Right.
But just everything that I see her in, it could be
Sweatpants and a flannel shirt.
and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Hair all messed up. Little ponytail maybe on
it
the
don't
side.
matter what it is. It doesn't matter. The more messed up she is, the more I love her. To be quite honest with you.
Let's do pig.
Anyway,
Yeah, piggy
from the
tails.
costume
You like
designer.
We're all sitting here imagining Michelle.
Anyway, I'm like, you need to get your asses off of that thought
Hey,
because there's going to be
hey.
there's only one chick in this studio right now, and you know what? This isn't Pornhub.
I'm just saying you should be flattered that we're thinking that way.
Hey, the way Todd is, we don't have to have any chicks in here.
Sorry about that. Anyway, we have the costume designer.
I've always had a thing for coal miners, though, just to let you know.
Hey, that makes me feel better.
Okay.
This is getting out of control. We have the costume designer. He is getting ready to go on the ride for life. That's why we have Clinton and Chrissy here to talk with Bikers for a Cure. Ladies and gentlemen, is
hold
that
on.
Brian?
That's Brian.
Okay. Call. Hold on, Chad. I'm sorry. Brian Morton.
Hey, what's going on?
Listen, man, it's your freaking birthday.
And yeah, you know how we know it's your birthday? Because you told us it was your birthday. Hey, we want to, you know what? We'd like to sing you a little happy birthday song.
Hey,
maybe.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
How old are you now?
I'm 46, but the funny part about that, today is not my birthday.
Come on, you got to be kidding me.
Morty.
When's your actual birthday? When's your actual birthday?
The day after Christmas.
The 26th.
What the heck are you doing in July?
I think
That's
he's
a good
lying.
birthday. Brian, that's a good day to have a birthday.
Listen, anyway, it's Christmas in July.
It's been horrible.
Brian,
Oh.
it's Christmas in July. And because of that, we're going to sing you happy birthday anyway, you sexy bastard.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, straight from Harrisville, West Virginia. Actually, we'll say Harrisville. That would be
that's
easy.
close
That
enough.
would be
That's
easier,
close
wouldn't it? Pennsboro, whatever. Down in Ritchie County.
Ritchie County.
Dead center Harrisville, you're right.
Harrisville.
The faux birthday of Brian Morton. We're going to sing him happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Brian Morton.
Happy birthday.
What the hell kind of song is this?
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's better in the beginning.
Happy birthday.
All right, Brian, happy
That has
birthday.
made my day.
Well, you know what?
Right,
Hey,
sure.
I got an idea.
Sure.
Let's give Brian's address out and everybody send him a birthday card.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, and if you-
His phone number.
Let's give Brian's phone number out on. Let's do that.
I don't know why we don't.
304.
304-629.
It's Brian Morton, Morton. Look him up on Facebook. Send him a message.
Bald.
Brian, how did everything go with the fireworks down there, man? You guys had a fantastic deal going on down there.
The celebration was great. Mother Nature did not cooperate, but we didn't let it stop us. And what's so amazing about our community is, and not only just our local community, people stopped me and flagged me down. They were from all over the place. I mean, surrounding counties that they made the trip over, and they stood there in the rain, in a lightning storm. I mean, it was just totally crazy that people still showed up and were still arriving. I mean, it was torrential downpours, but yet they didn't let it faze them. Because our community is starving for events like that.
Right.
Good.
It was amazing.
And you guys pulled off. I mean, it looked like it was a fantastic show.
It was a good time. Like I said, if Mother Nature would have cooperated with us, we probably could not hold the crowd, because the crowd that showed up and again, I'm not kidding, torrential downpours all evening. And people just still pitched their lawn chair. They put a little umbrella up. They had ponchos, trash bags. They didn't care. They still came out.
Hey, who took
It was beautiful. We couldn't hold them.
Hey, Brian, who actually took the shot of the fireworks going off for the actual lightning strike?
Actually, there's a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of video of that happening. People were just doing regular videoing, and then bam, there was so much lightning. It was actually scary at times how much, and it wasn't even small lightning. It would shoot clear across the sky and for like long durations. So it was really scary that that no one got hurt from a lightning strike or whatever, because it was terrible. I mean, horrible. The worst weather that you could expect to have for an outdoor event and fireworks. And people were like, we can't even believe they shot fireworks. It was torrential downpour and they were shooting fireworks.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's awesome.
It is, really.
But it turned out great, and that's all that counts. And
It
then
did.
since it's your faux birthday, hey, let me get Michelle. Hey, Michelle. We're going to yell.
She might be
Listen,
out
we're
on-
going to bring Michelle in here for a second.
Is she on the deck?
And to explain the faux birthday is, I do this occasionally. I mean, off and on. And this is like my fourth one probably this year.
Jeez, dude, how many
because-
birthday presents do you get every year?
Well, I did it the first time because people believe everything they see on the internet.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of the idea behind it. But then, like the first couple of times I did it, there were people who made me birthday cakes, who bought my dinner, who did this and that.
That's
So I
hilarious.
just kind of played off with it. It's awesome.
That is too funny.
Brian, we got somebody who wants to say hi to you, buddy.
Okay, listen, Brian.
right.
We're going to have a very special birthday song for you. This is Brian Morton, and you're going to sing this. Brian, this is Michelle, and she's going
Hi,
to sing
Michelle.
happy birthday.
Hi, Brian.
Whoa!
Hey!
Hey, Brian would know who was sitting in that chair if he was actually watching this on Facebook. So he would know.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
I tune in and watch the Mort Report.
Yeah, I watch the Mort Report every Sunday.
Well,
I mean Monday.
Monday.
What's the Mort Report?
Damn, Michelle.
Oh.
You know what the
Listen,
Mort Report
sing
is.
Brian. It's his fourth birthday of the year.
Oh.
Jesus only had one. Brian's had four so far. Sing him happy birthday.
Okay. You want me to? You called me in here for this,
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe it if you would.
Brian?
Oh my gosh!
Sing it.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe, because that kind of it'd be for all of us if you did that.
Okay.
If this is good as I think it's going to be, I'm having a birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
Oh boy.
Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday too. Call me
I
back.
heard it's your birthday. Happy birthday,
Oh my goodness.
big boy.
Oh, she said big boy.
Happy birthday.
She's obviously not her.
Morton. Brian Morton. Happy birthday.
All right. Yeah. Well, now that we can all say that
We can't stand up.
Thank you,
Well,
Michelle.
one of us can.
I'm ready for a cigarette.
Thank you, Michelle.
Donnie Everett said, Brian Morton, never heard of her.
That's why we love you, Donnie.
All right, Brian, get back to your business, man. That's good stuff.
I appreciate you guys giving me a call on my not so birthday.
Not so birthday for the fourth time this year. That's awesome.
Right.
Hey, if you ever want to come on Rogan Radio, just tell us you got a birthday.
Yeah.
It's the best podcast in West Virginia.
Dang! No offense, Eric McGuire. I didn't say that, did I?
Yes, you did.
No. Who?
All right. Hey, Brian, you're doing a good work down there, and we love watching it and everything else. We just like to give you shit every now and then. You know how we work.
Hey, that's right. You're not friends unless you can give each other hell.
No, that's right.
Tune into the More Report Mondays at 9.
That's
Right on.
That's right, Brian. All right, Brian, you take care, brother. Tell everybody we said tell Ant and Wild Bill and all of them and the bird and everything we said hi.
I appreciate it, guys. Take
All
care.
right, brother.
Have a great
We'll
show.
see you. All right, man.
Bye, Brian.
Bye-bye. That was Brian Morton down from Harrisville, West Virginia, in Ritchie County, and we thought he had a birthday, but he didn't.
he
And this is like the
well.
fourth time. That's just how much I pay attention to stuff.
If we have another ghost hunt coming up here soon, we got to get Brian.
Oh, Brian's fun.
Hey,
as
he's
shit.
Brian and
one
the
of my
bird in
good
there.
flashlights.
Brian's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Anyway, we have Chrissy and we have Clinton in here. Coming up on August 12th, we have a thing called the Ride for Life with that's putting on from the Bikers for a Cure. Now, this is very important. Now, I don't know who's going to talk most. Who's the big talker between you and Chrissy?
Clint.
Clinton is?
Okay. Last time he was on here, he was a pro. So go for it, buddy.
Okay. So anyway, what's going to happen is on August 12th, up at the Roadhouse, starting at 10, we have registration for this, right? And tell us, first of all, you've been doing this now for 16 years.
Yes.
Chrissy has been doing this for 16 years. I just joined in kind of later on, right around 2010, and I've been helping her ever since. And it was, for me, it was because my father passed away from cancer, and it kind of, when I bought a motorcycle, gave me a reason to kind of give back. If you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
But Chrissy has been doing this for 16 years, and it all started at Pratt & Whitney. A group of people that she works with and we work with started this well before me, and it kind of grew. And as Chad mentioned earlier, it really grew. Within the last 2 years, it's really taken off. It's always been around 250 people for, 6 or 7 years. But in 2015, it really took off. And now we're up to close to 500 or 600 riders. It just depends on how you look at it. I mean, if it's either riders or it's bikes. You have people that ride in doubles,
right?
So I never really got an accurate count of last year.
Now, Chrissy, you've been around this thing from the very. I mean, did you start it?
Yes.
So you started. What was the inspiration for that?
We were just looking for a fundraiser for the Relay for Life.
Right.
And we thought we would do that because a bunch of people at work rode.
Right.
So
right.
we just started it, and the first year we did it, it rained, and we had maybe 35 people.
Right. Well, the crazy thing about it is when it comes to, and it is a very hard conversation to have, is that when you start talking about cancer, it's like one of those things to where you hope it never, you don't realize how easily and how fast it can happen to you. You can be living your life and you could be doing nothing, and the next day, boom, everything changes for the rest of your life. Because even if you get it, And say you go through and they say, okay, it's been 5 years since you've had any. You know what? It never leaves your brain. It never. To this day, with me, I look at every little. With me, it was melanoma, and I'm looking at every little dot and every little pain or in anything. It's a constant fear. So what's kind of cool about it is the fact of you have this support group, right? So you have. Because if you can get very depressed when somebody tells you that, you can kind of put yourself into a box and you could just shut yourself off from the world, which at that point you're not going to win anything. You're not going to win anything. But at the same time, everybody, I don't think people realize how many people or how fast it can affect you. And everybody, and I can guarantee you, everybody that's listening to this now, everybody in this room, and I know for a fact everybody in this room has, and that shows you how common it is.
Sure. Is
somehow going to be affected in a very big way. In Chad's case, worst case scenario. You know what I mean? In my case, okay, I'm still kicking. You're still fighting. I mean, it's like one of those things. And so when you have this support group, and which is really cool about what's happening here, is that there's somebody out there that doesn't either. It could be, Lord, you would hate to think that when it comes to cancer that you have to have insurance to be cured from it. And I don't even know if I want to ever say cured, because mentally you're never going to be. Once somebody tells you you have cancer, you will never be cured of that in your brain. You just won't. Physically, perhaps. You know what I mean? Maybe. Dad's been pretty good.
Right.
He's had prostate cancer, and he's been good. They caught it. They did. But nevertheless, PSA levels go up. You get scared from it. But there's like a certain amount of, and I don't understand society in this point. I don't, is that when there's so many different kind of cancers now, is that you need this money and you need this research and you need all of this stuff to be pulled together. And now why, and this is maybe going on a political rampage, which I don't want, but when it takes like common people to pull together to donate, so if somebody could find that cure where the government's more worried about this or the government's more worried about that, when people are dying, you know what? I don't think cow farts really give it. It doesn't matter to me. When you're putting in that perspective, or even with SETI, with all the stuff that God rest his soul, Robert C. Byrd did down in Greenbanks. You know what? That's important stuff, but it's not important to somebody on Earth dying right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's billions and billions of dollars being spent down there. So, just to reiterate the fact of when you have like the Ride for Life with the Bikers for a Cure, you're not only being a support group, but people either have lost somebody or you're dealing with it yourself, and you have this group, so somebody will say, listen, I know what you're going through. Somebody can say that they don't, somebody can say, hey, listen, I know what you're going through, or I feel sorry, or I hope you get better. But if you're not going through it, you know what? You don't know they don't know what you're talking about, because that's a demon. That is a demon in your head, and it's each individual person is that fight. You know what I mean? They just do not get it. They don't understand it. And at the same time, you have this support group as far as financial stuff goes, because it takes money to do everything in this world.
Mm-hmm. That's what's nice about this ride.
Yeah.
People come together, like you're saying, 500 or 600 riders, come together and, put in their resources to help find a cure.
So tell us, so August 12th, you have registration, and you have the bike night coming up at, where's the big bike night before that?
At Whitefront in Grafton.
Right.
It's July 28th from 6 until whenever.
Nice.
And they're also a stop on our ride, but they have been great. The Whitefront in Grafton has been great with us for years and years now.
They're nice down there. They're really
very
nice down there. And
Brand
I tell you
new
what,
bar. If you haven't been there, the food is wonderful. You need to get out there.
I'll tell you what, they've really redone the place.
Oh,
they've remade that
new building.
It absolutely is, and it's nice down there. It's very nice down there. How long's the ride going to be?
Well, we're guesstimating it'll be. You mean talking miles?
Yeah.
It'll be around 130 miles.
130 miles.
It's we're going a different route this year than what we normally do, but it's still going to be a quality route.
Oh, sure. There's no doubt
The
about
roads
that.
are great. We just rode it the other day, so it'll be great. It'll be a good ride. We always have a good ride.
Yeah.
If we can't say anything else, we can always say we have a good ride and we have a great ending. But
Exactly. the games are excellent at the end.
Yeah, bike
it's
games.
It's always fun.
Darren's been there.
Well, you know what? What's funny is a year ago we had the same conversation, and if you remember right, you both were riding on your bikes, and you got caught in a rainstorm in Grafton because it was a bad rainy night that time, and it was raining, and you just didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen, and then it came, and the next thing I know, because it was clear in Lumberport.
I don't think it rained here at all.
I don't think it
didn't rain here at all that day.
I was on Clinton's Fat Boy with a gun, and I was like Terry's gun, and I was sitting there waving the daggone gun around because it was so nice around here. But a year later, how fast things have changed.
That's been a year already. Wow.
Yeah.
I know. Doesn't seem that long, does it?
No, it doesn't seem that long.
Especially when you're trying to do an event like this. Seems like a year goes by really quick, doesn't it?
How much?
We start this around February. And I mean, next thing you know, it's July, and we're a month out. We're less than a month out now. So it goes quick. But, man, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
How much? I mean, how much? Tell some of the sponsors that you have. I know you have a Pilot and Bombardier, and you have
Pratt and Whitney.
Pratt and Whitney's in there. I mean, are they? I mean, they seem like you. It's nice that you have these big. I mean, they're big sponsors to help you with this stuff. And you also have the thing. Are you going to have biscuits? The biscuits, the Roadhouse.
Oh yeah.
Roadhouse does biscuits and gravy for breakfast. And I hate to advertise this on here, but dollar drafts. I mean,
oh yeah,
you have a hard time getting people out of there. Actually,
Yeah, it's hard.
We got a ride. I don't know if I can ride now.
You eat them
I'm
biscuits
full of
and
draft
gravy,
beer
it's
and
hard to get
biscuits.
started.
Keith Freeman at the Roadhouse and
Lori.
Lori
Thomas.
and Connie
At the Best Western.
Have
Connie
been-
and Rhonda have been
These
wonderful.
two people have been absolutely wonderful to us. We can't beat the beginning, and we can't beat the ending.
Yeah, that's a big sponsor of yours too here in the area. Best Western is
Best
where
Western
you have your
and
finish
Texas
up.
Roadhouse have been awesome. And then at Texas Roadhouse, we ended there. I mean, I'm sorry, at Best Western, we ended there.
Yeah.
And, you know, they give us a block of rooms for $65 a piece. If
That's
you
not
just
how much
say-
I paid for mine. I already got my room.
If you say you're with the Ride for Life, hey, $65, you cannot beat it. I mean,
No, I went
you
ahead
have a
and-
good time. You don't have to worry about riding home. You know, maybe drinking a couple of these. You don't have to worry about riding home and getting, you know, pulled over or whatever.
Right,
It's
absolutely.
the best way to go.
So once again, we're going to go ahead. August 12th. It's the Ride for Life Bikers for a Cure having a ride, and it's going to be say 103 miles. 130 miles. So it's going to be a big, nice ride through the state of West Virginia.
Right on.
And then it's going to be, you're going to register from 10 until noon. The last rider leaves from the Roadhouse up in Clarksburg, which is right by the post office. Everybody knows where that is because it's on the way to Walmart.
Not Bridgeport. Clarksburg.
I know. I say that. I did this PSA. I did this commercial, and I think from back in the day, and then Clinton said the same thing. He caught it. I didn't. I said the road, or is that Chrissy caught that?
Chrissy caught it. I would have thought Bridgeport myself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, okay, the Roadhouse in Bridgeport, because I think of that as Bridgeport.
I do too. Bridgeport Hill. Yeah. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm Bridgeport Hill."
Yeah, you have old Bridgeport Hill, which has Chenoweth and Harry Green on it. It's not even Bridgeport. It's not even close to being Bridgeport.
What's the address of the post office?
200 Cabbage Drive.
Clarksburg.
Yeah, I know, and that's where I work. I know. It's awful. It's awful. But anyway, from up on Emily Drive over at the big East Point complex in Clarksburg, you can register. You can just bring your bike up, and then how much is it going to be to actually register for the event?
Registration will be $15 a person or $25 a couple.
Okay, so then with that comes, say if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, we come to the Roadhouse. Say Chad and I. Say I'm riding bitch on Chad's bike.
Yeah,
or
bitch.
Todd's bike. Or
I would
Darren's
love to
bike.
see that.
I don't know if Todd's will hold you up.
It'll hold them.
Both of you. I mean,
yeah.
We might break a spring.
Chuck, you have
Feel
been
like
a
Dumb and
you have
Dumber.
been a janitor for a
you're
few.
like Dumb and Dumber.
No, I have not been a janitor for nothing.
I'm just saying, I did.
I'm in a different craft.
Custodial engineer.
Custodial engineer.
I had left a letter carrier
Forgive
craft,
me.
and now I'm making sure that when you sit your ass down like you do every single morning on a
Yep,
toilet
yep.
seat, you don't get herpes. So you know what?
I appreciate
Thank
that.
me later.
That's
thank you right
important.
now.
I think so too.
I wish I had a janitor at work.
I'm a sanitary engineer is what I
wish
am.
I had a
God bless
janitor
you,
at work.
man.
Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, so then, so come a Saturday on August 12th, which is a Saturday, obviously.
Saturday,
it
August
better
12th.
be.
What day is that, guys?
You'll come up. Say if you have 2 people on a bike, you pay your $25, and you go ahead and you have your breakfast.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Breakfast.
No, that's what I mean. We saw it last year. Chad went up there last year, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. This
then
year,
you get to the end and you have dinner. I mean,
and you get dinner.
And don't forget all the stops. They normally have food set out at all the stops.
That's
and
right.
And the drinks at the stops, there's normally some type of special to go along with it. I mean, you can't beat for $25 going out and having a day with your fellow riders.
Right.
Doing something good for somebody else, and everything that you get on top of it, you profit off of being on one of these rides.
Well, I mean that's that's the whole thing. Which was what I really enjoy about bike riders is because at times there's this stereotype because they're Harley dudes or they're bike riders, and they have this like look to them. You know what? I wish I could ride a bike. I know I can't, but the entire thing is there's a heart there, and when you have
You look badass like Todd.
Yeah, Todd looks badass.
Oh, stop it, guys.
But the entire thing is, when you get these, and there's a joy about riding a bike. And I just read a story not too long ago to where they downgraded the long range outlook on Harley because millennials aren't into bike riding like the previous generations have been. They just don't like to ride motorcycles. Which what the point was, they don't see the relaxation and they don't see the freedom. They're not getting out of bike riding what bike riding was, how it all started in the first place.
I think it has to do with the technological age that has come about with
Absolutely.
it as well.
Which is going
because the helmet will mess up their man bun.
Yeah. Which is going back to the point. Is that
that's what it is. The man bun.
When you think about it, the stereotypes, the whole thing about bike riders is they enjoy life. They enjoy it's like one. It's almost like a nature
therapy.
It is almost like therapy. It's almost like a natural event. You're like on this bike and you're feeling things. You're loving things,
Freedom.
right? And you enjoy the fact that you appreciate that in a second you could hit gravel.
Yeah.
You could hit a car from another direction.
Let me tell you something. A bird can do damage. Okay.
Oh yeah.
A bird, or you could the next day you could wake up from a great bike ride and get terrible news. You appreciate the fact that you're alive. That's the entire
Let me
point of
tell you
being on the
something.
bike.
Right.
A Japanese beetle doing 40 mile an hour to the cheekbone don't feel very good.
No.
I can
Not
imagine.
when the locusts are out.
Thanks for that, Darren. Thanks for that, Darren.
You're welcome.
He made you an offer that you couldn't refuse.
Sounds like the beetle went down your throat instead.
Dang, Darren. I wouldn't take that. I know it.
What the hell else am I going to say? Nobody can hear me.
What?
But now, so all the proceeds from this go to where?
The American Cancer Society.
Hold on. We can't hear you, girlfriend.
Did you turn that off?
Maybe hit it with your button. With your finger. There we go.
Sorry, I did turn it off.
There we go.
100% of the proceeds go to the American Cancer Society for research, which is very much needed.
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just saw a story not too long ago about how cancer cells react, and it's amazing how at times you can it's almost like being in an argument with somebody. You can make it more complex than it really has to be. They're making things way too complex, and some dude, I can't even remember his name now, came up with this simple. It was like just some kind of a simple thing because your body has this natural immunity system to itself anyway, and how nature does what nature does as far as DNA goes, and it kills off cells or whatever. Cancer cells are just normal cells that somehow get around that system. Blah blah blah. This guy has figured it out. Something with a cold vaccine, to believe it or not. But it takes that, and it takes that kind of a research because let's be honest, pharmaceuticals don't want that.
Oh,
Pharmaceuticals want the money from the treatment. Blah 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 blah. Without getting into that, but. So all the proceeds. What actually got? Let me ask you a question. What actually? You started 16 years ago. What made you? What made you get into it? What made you? What was the? I know Clinton's, but what was the? What made you wake up one day and say, you know what, this is something I'm going to do.
To make a long story short, I started at Pratt & Whitney in 1994. And in 1996, they asked me to do Relay for Life. I had no idea what it was, never had lost anybody to cancer, never knew anybody that had cancer. So I was 28 years old. Well, I started and I went to the first Relay for Life walk. Actually, it was at the Nutter Fort Park, and it was canceled due to storms. And when it was my time to show up, I showed up and everybody was gone. So that was my first relay. The second year, they asked me to be team captain. So I rallied the troops, and I was a team captain. And still, not knowing anybody that had cancer, I went to this event, and it just touched my heart. Just everybody that had been there that lost people, that people were fighting. There was survivors, and it just touched my heart. So I've been a Relay for Life volunteer for the American Cancer Society since then. But this year in March, on March 8th, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So now I have a personal reason. Besides all my family and friends, coworkers, we've lost some. Some have been doing great, surviving it. But now I have a personal story to tell.
Chrissy, let me ask you this without, I'm not going to get too deep in it, but how much more open are your eyes today than they were from March?
Well, I had helped my ex-boyfriend get through cancer twice. And I always thought that I knew what it was being diagnosed with cancer. But until you hear those words, you have cancer, you never really truly understand it. But I am just so thankful, and I'm sure that if it wasn't for the American Cancer Society, I wouldn't be able to say that I had one radiation treatment. It was a new testing treatment. I was number 34 for the WVU to do the intraoperative radiation therapy during surgery, and I was only, like I said, number 34, and only one person out of the 34 have had to have additional radiation treatment.
That's fantastic.
That is crazy.
See, and you know
right
what? That's
there.
a testament to the money that, like, you all raise, and you have been for 16 years. This money goes for research, which, you know, came up with this new radiation technology.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know
I was
what?
facing 12 weeks,
I was going to
5
say,
days a week.
yeah,
of
because a lot of people go through that radiation for weeks. And
That's
it just,
amazing to
and
me.
it tears them down. That radiation.
Well, that's
is bad.
when my grandmother, she died of ovarian cancer. Okay, and this was back in the early '80s. They didn't even know what that was back in those days. And they were at that time they were just trying whatever they could. And I can remember one day where she looked. She was sick as a dog. And I don't even know if I want to say this because I don't know if anybody in my family knows this. But I could see her. My grandfather was taking care of her, and she had to go to the bathroom. And I was sitting on my grandfather's chair, and she looked through the crack in the door and saw me seeing her sick. At which point, in her mind, it was like, I do not want my grandson to see me this way.
Right.
I do not.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, she eventually succumbed to it. I mean, she died from it. And I don't even know if they had any treatment for it back then. And she was, to see her, it breaks my heart to know all this stuff. She went through all this shit basically for nothing because there was never going to be a cure then. They didn't even know what they were doing. Right. You know what I mean? And then now you're talking about this new stuff, just like what Todd said, all these donations from bike rides, you know, all these different aspects, Relay for Life, whatever it might be, giving $5 online at any certain time.
Yeah.
You know, now all of a sudden you're talking about going from one time, like a one-time treatment, perhaps, knock on wood, to what could have been, you know, God knows what kind of chemicals or radiation or whatever they could have filled you up with, which would have just made you just mentally just ill. You know what I mean?
It extended my surgery 40 minutes, opposed to 12 weeks, 5 days a week.
Yeah, look at that.
That's amazing to me.
So, I mean, you know what? They're making progress. You know what I mean?
But it seems like, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like in this day and age, it seems like cancer is like growing. Like when I was younger, it was like every once in a while you hear somebody, you'd be like, oh my gosh, they got cancer. They're going to die. You automatically, you thought that. Now it seems like everybody, like 1 in 4 people are getting cancer. And you're like, you know, so
everybody, that's what I mean.
Ridiculous.
It almost seems like everybody and their brother now for whatever reason, it could be in the water, in the food, whatever it might be. I don't know. I mean, you know, years and years of air pollution. Hell, I don't know what it is, but it seems like you are almost guaranteed at some point for somebody to look at you and say, if you're not lucky enough to die from a heart attack, you know what, seriously, somebody's going to say, listen, you have cancer. I mean, that's just almost a lock.
Now listen to me about this. Now you see it within humans.
Director's cam.
Oh, sorry. Now you see it in humans, and like with my dog just passed, with, you know, dogs and cats and everything have it. But that's just the stuff that we see, that we know. what's out there in the wildlife that they're, because all the chemicals in the ground and everything about, the wildlife, the deer, and everything that we're eating, they're out there dying in the wilderness that we don't know about.
Right.
That's true.
Well, in the to kind of give a brighter point, the entire conversation is about what we can do together as a collective to kind of so nobody has to go through this stuff. And just like what Chrissy was just saying.
Or yeah, if we maybe not necessarily go through it, but like you were saying,
a lot
really
less.
minimize. Yeah,
because the mental part, there's two different aspects. And Chris, I know it was for me. You have the mental aspect and you have the physical aspect. The physical part I can kind of deal with. It's the mental part because it has never left. It's never left. It's never left.
And every little minor ache and pain.
Everything.
Oh,
Yep. Oh my God! Listen,
I know.
I was just telling
little things.
I was just telling Todd the other day. I was outside. Did I not? And I was like, listen, there's something right in here, right in my chest. I mean, I can't necessarily feel it, but I can feel it. There's something my body's telling me something's wrong.
Yeah, or I'll text Chuck and I'll say, Chuck, what does this? And I'll say, I got a pain in my throat, in my neck. I think I pulled a muscle. Remember there for a week or so, and I'm like, Chuck, you gotta figure out what this is, man, because the older I'm closer to 40 or 50 now than I've ever been.
Pain in your
and
throat,
now,
huh?
My neck. You don't know what it
I thought
is.
the same thing, Jimmy.
One thing I want to say real quick about the Ride for Life. I just want to throw this out there. In 2010, Chrissy and I decided we was going to start dedicating a type of cancer every year for the ride. We would emphasize one kind. Well, when Chrissy come down with this, which blew everybody away, we were starting to get into the planning stages of this year, and she come down with it. Matter of fact, we even Chrissy decided we were going to stop the ride, and we decided to continue on. Because it's too big. It's too big to quit.
Right, absolutely.
And we decided we would dedicate this year to breast cancer. And there's numbers out there that if any of you females are listening, 1 in 9, right, Christy, or is it 1 in 8?
1 in 8.
1 in 8 women in their lifetime will get breast cancer.
Yeah.
I have something to add to that. It's not only affects women. There is three men, young men, going through it right now at UHC in Clarksburg.
Isn't it? I mean, it's amazing.
So any defects or any lumps, you guys need to check your
You don't
breasts
screw
and
around
your
with
arms.
it. You don't screw around with it.
Yes.
You don't screw around with it.
I'll check
You want
yours,
me to-
Clinton, if
I'll
you'll
check
check
you.
mine. That's fine.
Listen,
I
After
go
the
to a
show.
breast cancer support group, and the lady that runs it is over the UHC breast cancer, and she was the one that actually told us that men are greatly affected by this also.
And it's weird because the crazy thing, another crazy thing in my mind, and it's just the way society is now. And thank goodness there's a support group, say like the Bikers for a Cure. But you have, everybody, if you're like, say, we're just going to use Michelle, for example. She's busy. She's a mom of 3 girls, raising these girls, and she's out, and at the same time go to work. She does not have time to get sick.
Soon she'll have a lot of help.
She'll have help, but she does not have time to get sick. So something that it's going to go away. It'll go away. I don't have time for this shit. I'm going to ignore it. At which point, when it comes time to where it's starting to really affect her, this conversation will be the worst one. 6 months ago, if you would have came here, everything would have been a lot different. But now you're going to be dead. You know what I mean? That's the worst part. And then when you have people that are so. They don't do the screening, I guess, or they don't take it serious, which is what at the same time what you're doing now as far as raising money, you're also bringing awareness to everything. Yeah. But again, I try to stay away from the political stuff, but it's almost at the same time. Luckily enough, for health insurance anyway, you're looking at serious. Chad can tell. Chad, I mean, you guys went through all this stuff. You have to plan for the future, and if it's guaranteed 1 in 9, you could be that 1 in 9. That's not, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, see, my wife got cancer that normally has been suggested to be an older man's cancer.
People have never. People used to never get esophageal cancer. Never heard of it. Terry died from it. Chad's wife. Todd's grandfather died from it. Kenny Kerr, we work with, died from it.
Yeah.
John Kaufman
died from it. My brother-in-law. He has these issues with your uncle. See what I mean? So how common is it? It's a hell of a lot more common than you think it is.
Yeah, it really is. David D said he's convinced it's in the food. And I think so too, because you know what?
Food.
Yeah, this generation right here, it seems like it's processed. And people are in a hurry, and it's easier just to throw something in a microwave than to, get some organic and cook it like they used to.
But even with organic stuff.
Somebody read Donnie Everett's comment about stories.
But we could sit here and pass blame all night long. That's not going to solve anything because it's already in our systems. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so be it.
Everybody needs to take it very seriously and go and get those screenings.
And
they offer free screenings all the time.
And what did they get? Derek, you would know this firsthand. Like, say if you were strapped for cash,
right,
and if you don't have health insurance,
right,
what happens? I mean, what can you do?
Well, I mean, you just got to be aware of what programs are available to you when they're available. I mean, they advertise them all the time about this screening will be at this place, or the breast cancer, the
Bonnie's bus.
Yeah, Bonnie's bus. They bring that. Matter of fact, that's somewhere I just saw. See, but I didn't pay that close of attention, but it's here local right now.
And that's for breast cancer and ovarian cancer.
Right. In these clinics, there's a lot of clinics out there that'll say, hey, we're going to do a free cancer screening, like Megan works at Mountain State, the Mountain State Dermatology.
Right.
2 or 3 times a year, they'll do screenings, or they'll go to the mall and set up a booth and say, hey, when you're walking by and you see that, it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. Just do it.
Do it.
It's almost like cholesterol when the Lions Club does this stuff.
Right.
It costs you $15. Get your cholesterol checked.
Well, why not?
I mean, at least you know. At least you know.
But you know what? A lot of people don't want to know.
Well,
they don't want.
Here's the thing. A lot of people say,
they go, I feel fine. I'm fine.
If I feel okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
What's that thought, Bruce?
It's that it's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me money. But if the doctor said nothing wrong, that's even better to hear. But if you don't take care of it, it's going to cost your life.
Right.
So, $10, $15, that's why you worry about.
It costs you $10, $15 now, or maybe in 6 years it's going to cost you $30,000. I mean,
I got a question, and this is going to sound, I guess, kind of funny, but it's kind of a serious question too, though. You were talking about like men getting now. Is it more? Do more men with? How do I say this? Do men with man boobs seem to get it more or less? I mean, it's going to sound funny, but
knew you were
it's
going
a
to say
truthful
that.
question. You know what I mean?
Like, you have flat-chested guys and you have dudes with man boobs.
You got me, and then you got
Does it affect
Jimmy.
you more if you have more?
Well, I can
Flesh? I don't
only
know.
tell you about women, and there was a girl at work that I work with that was diagnosed last year, and she didn't have
Kinda
very
flat.
much boobs.
She was like an A cup.
Okay.
Well,
Probably a B cup, maybe.
Ooh, maybe we'll see
And
that.
so
Right. And
it doesn't matter.
So it's just not Chuck that can get it. It's like someone else too.
It's the whole thing even with melanoma. Most people with melanoma, if you get melanoma that'll kill you, it won't be where you think it is. It won't be on your arms where you tan. It'll be on like the bottom of your foot that never sees the sun. It might be on your back. Most people, believe it or not, who get melanoma and die from it, never see the sun. They're under fluorescent lights all day.
Yeah. Megan's brother, same thing.
See what I mean?
Well,
all of a sudden, boom.
One thing too, my sister-in-law actually had both of her breasts removed. She had no breast tissue whatsoever. She died of breast cancer that was attached to her liver.
And once it spreads, right?
Yeah.
And then,
but you just never know.
And you'd say, and my grandmother, was diagnosed with breast cancer either in the, I want to say it was in the late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in that nature. Boom, she lived. Now you think about how much further it's come since then, and how lucky she really was.
Oh, she was 1%.
Right, she was in the 1%, and my mom can tell you all about it. My grandma, she would just be it in your head, that how important it was. But she had a double, was it vasectomy or mastectomy? Yeah, I can't remember. Vasectomy.
Yeah, I had a
double
vasectomy.
vasectomy. That's not what I meant. Right.
It's not like Darren dogs.
It's not like Darren's addicted.
And she was really embarrassed about that.
But that's it. See, that's what I mean. There's a
You should be too.
I'd have been proud.
But the whole thing is, it's just like what Derek just said. It doesn't. We're past everything. We're past all the being embarrassed. If you have prostate cancer, and it's not very pleasant to have a finger stuck up your ass, unless you're me, because I kind of like that.
well, yeah, it depends.
But it's better than dying. It's better than
much
dying.
better.
It's better to go to a urologist and have them check you for testicular cancer. Because you know what? If you have it and you think you're going to die from it, then you know what? That's whose fault is it?
Right.
If you're constantly having acid reflux and you think Prilosec or antacid is going to do something, there's a reason you have that. If you're going to get barracks, then you're going to die from it. It's as simple as that. If you have a lump on your breast and you just want to ignore it and you just want to listen, you're going to die from it. I mean, it's simple like that.
Well, like Bruce said, you know what? Spend a couple bucks, go get it checked out. It could save your life.
And exactly. And what's happening here with the Bikers for Life is you have this technology now where this money's pouring in, so you have this more technology coming in to figure out different techniques, so it's not all about cut and slice. It's more like the one-time radiation treatment. You're like, damn.
Wow.
How about that?
I just have something to say about insurances. Most insurances, mammograms, prostate checks, all that, and colonoscopies are all paid 100%. It's preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay a dime.
Hell, I can get 2 teeth cleanings a year just because they don't want to see me getting a cavity filled.
Yeah. Right.
That's right.
Hey, if you can, give me a second here. There's a lot of information out here that needs to be heard, that are being done in the comments. Donnie Everett, this is just kind of a kudos here. He said, here's what I get out of all these stories for anyone going through it or whoever will. No matter how dark it gets, you'll never alone, especially if you're acquainted with the group of people sitting in that room right there.
Yeah. Thank you, Donnie.
I'm glad you read that because my throat was a little sore.
Yeah.
Keep going, Darren.
I'm going. Michelle said about the breast cancer, she said it does not matter. Men is getting as common as women. She sees it every day. And Megan McIntyre said most common place for women to get melanoma is on the back of their legs.
That's what I mean. I mean, all this stereotype stuff that you would think. Mm-hmm. You would think. I mean, how many people do you know that have died from lung cancer have never smoked a cigarette in their life?
Yeah, right.
It happens all the time.
And then you got other people who can smoke for 60, 70 years and don't have a problem.
Never even think anything about it. You know what?
Let me ask you guys a question. If for some reason somebody's in the area but they're not able to attend, but they still want to donate, how do you have anything set up so that they can send money in for the ride?
They can mail a check, or they can actually go on to the Relay for Life website. We have a team, and it's Taylor County, West Virginia, American Cancer Society Relay for Life, and it's Chrissy's Relay Buddies. You can use your credit card through there, or you can send a check, and I'll let Clint.
Yeah, say if somebody wanted to write you a check right now. If somebody wanted to say if somebody walked into this room and said, we have a check for you, what would happen? How would it work?
It would have to be made out to Bikers for a Cure and mailed to P.O. Box 341, Bridgeport, West Virginia, 26330.
I hope you get a lot of them.
Put that link up.
Put my name on that.
Yeah.
Put that info in the comments.
Yeah, so I just want to make another statement here. Since I was diagnosed, and when we had the meeting, the first meeting after I was diagnosed, I brought up to the committee that maybe we should not do it this year because a lot of work, I mean, nobody knows how much work this takes to put this event on. I mean, it started out with 35 people, and now it's up to over 500, like Clint said. But I had brought up and said maybe we should let it go for a year, and everybody on the committee was like, no, we're going to do it. We'll step up. We'll do everything. And Clint, I have to give kudos to Clint because he has taken over, and he has been the chairperson by himself this year. So I just want to.
And that's and I tell you what,
thank you.
Yeah. That's a big undertaking because, like, you know, and I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to mention Chad for example because Chad's the one that I know of in a most personal sense. Chad lost his wife to cancer, and it's nice to know that you have somebody, say like Clinton, doing something that not necessarily personally, you know. Say as you know, you have that support, and that's the point that people don't understand until it's too late. I think, and that's what I understand it, you know, because it's affected me. But you know, when you can sit around and say, yeah, I'm going to go buy a new car, I'm going to go buy, you know, whatever the hell I'm going to go buy, but no, I'm not thinking about this. Instead of thinking about somebody else. And then you have somebody like Chad who had to go through this shit for what, a year, 2 years?
Yeah, just over a year.
A little bit over a year, and watch his wife die. And I hate to say it like that, but that's the truth.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the truth.
And to see that shit, and then have Chrissy down there go through it. But then you have a guy like Clinton who, you know what, thank goodness you haven't had anything bad happen to you yet. To step up and say, you know what, I'm going to sit here.
Just sitting in between them two guys.
He's looking for wood. He's looking for wood.
I'm going to stand here and I'm going to do this because you know what? I haven't personally been affected by it, but I'm going to do something about it. Because most people don't do anything about it. They don't. They wait till it's too late. How many times on Facebook do you see somebody on there crying for help? Yeah. That they don't do shit about anybody else until it's their turn. Yeah. And it's like, listen, oh my God, I have my kids sick. Oh, my grandma's sick. I'm sick now. Do something for me.
Get your regular checkups.
Yeah.
Stop smoking.
Well, I mean, it's the whole point of it. It takes a whole collective. It takes an entire collective.
Donate.
Well, listen, there is one thing I need to interject here. I kind of got a bunch of different roles here with Rogan Radio and everything. We knew this show was coming up. We know the ride's coming up and stuff like that. And we collectively, as a group here at the show, we came up with a little bit of fundage and everything, which kind of like to help with the ride and all that kind of stuff. And since you put all the effort has been put into him, I'm going to give him this check that we have from Rogan Radio for the Bikers for a Cure. And we would just like for you guys to take that money, put it in with the rest of it. If you need anything to get ready for the ride, use it for the ride. If you want to use it for the donation, use it for the donation.
Thank you very much. That is awesome.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Hey,
Thank you.
That's it, man. I mean, it takes all people to make things work, and anybody who's taking on any type of project in life in general will understand where you guys are coming from and how much time it really takes. And it's nuts. I think anybody who does anything to this nature needs to pat themselves on the back more than once. They really do.
Well, it's hard. It's just hard.
Yeah,
it's hard, and that's the whole thing. You can go on this tangent, and you can blame many things, but I keep going back to this thing, and it changes your life. It changes your entire outlook on life. And then if you're lucky enough to get through it, and then sadly in some cases you have to live through it, and you get past it. Say like in Chad's circumstance, he has to live with that. You know what I mean?
You know what? It sounds really bad, but I'm going to be honest with you. I had the perfect partner at the time.
Right.
My wife that passed away, the kind of personality that she had, she still helps me out from time to time today. I have a new girlfriend now, and I honestly believe my wife slapped me in the face and said, look what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, I still talk to her. I will never stop loving her, and my girlfriend knows that, and she accepts that. I have been so lucky with the experience that I have, even though I lost my wife. And it's because of groups like Clinton and Chrissy and people like y'all that help people like me, the caregiver, get through that kind of stuff.
Well,
Yeah, that's something. Go ahead, Bruce.
Her legacy just lives in you, so you just have to carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something else that a lot of people might overlook is the caregiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the caregiver, I mean, that is a really big job.
It's
I know. Well, yeah, when my grandfather was sick, I mean, my mom, I mean, she was there. Every weekend and coming during the week, and then it was for a couple years. I mean, she never missed. But that's
probably never wavered, right?
Right. And yeah, never even thought twice about it. But the caregiver. That's a pretty important part of that whole cancer thing.
A lot of times
Very,
it's a
very
team. I know.
important.
Yeah.
Steph's mom died like that.
That's what I mean. It affects everybody, man. It
geoplasma or
absolutely
whatever in her
affects
head.
everybody. And when it comes to this, we like to dig off a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to tell you. We like to dig off. We like to have a good time. But there's certain circumstances to where there's things we like to talk about. And I don't care to talk. We can talk about them all night long. That's fine with me. And if you don't like it, tune out and watch, Hulu or whatever. I don't give a shit. It don't matter to me. Because, one of these days, you're going to be that person on Facebook that hasn't done a damn thing for anybody coming back and say, oh, I found Jesus. Now, help me out. Well, where were you at? You know what? And thank goodness nobody says, you know what? We were here the entire time.
Yeah, and nobody turns it
and
back on
nobody
those
gives you
people,
nobody gives you that attitude because there's always somebody there that entire time.
Yeah.
And now it's just like with once again, it's super really cool that when it goes back to the whole ride for life and the Bikers for a Cure is that you had the joy for life, you had the joy to ride, you had this together. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate it like what it really truly is.
Right.
It's way bigger. It has way better intentions, and one day you're going to be that person on the other side of the fence thinking, "Thank God these guys and girls on their motorcycles that have these like crazy ass exhaust pipes that drive me crazy, or used to drive me crazy, because now they sound like heaven bells. Now they sound like something that I absolutely thank goodness for them.
Mm-hmm. And through the summertime, you'd be surprised when you see a group of riders on a Saturday. You can almost guarantee that there is some ride going on all summer long. There is a ride. Bikers are the ones that give the most money.
Absolutely.
For charities, not just one charity, but at least, hey, if they do one charity a month, they've already given more than most people do in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
That's 100% true. You know,
Yeah.
I tried.
Sorry about that, Derek.
No. I was just thinking. Now I'm going to go on a tangent because it's like when I listen to the every year when they do the Children's Miracle Network on WVAQ.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't take it. And I'll sign up and I'll come home and be like, hey, Megan, I just dropped $100 to the Child's Network. Or sometimes I don't even tell her. I just do it.
Right.
But because that makes me feel better, because I can't imagine having to be in that situation. And it's nuts, man. I don't know.
Couldn't do it.
I have a hard time watching like the St. Jude's commercials.
Man.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And
It's like watching The Shack.
That's why I went on a rampage earlier this week. And it's not cancer related. Well, one of them is, but I have friends who have children who've been affected, and it just pisses me off that we can't do anything as a society to help these damn people out.
Right.
For whatever reason, it's for whatever reason in the society today. And this is what's really cool. Once again, going back to the bikers, because they seem to be very true about that, and like the Relay for Life as far as walkers go, they're very true to that. You have these different cliques, but at the same time, you have most people, the majority of people, that would rather go home and sit down and say, you know what, it's not affecting me now. This is boring. I'll just go ahead. Who cares? But then they'll be the first one to bitch about heroin in Clarksburg.
Yeah.
They'll be the first one to bitch about, gasoline prices. It's like, what are you doing to solve the problem besides bitch?
Nothing. But I'll tell you who does. Wayne Worth.
Wayne Worth damn well
Wayne
does.
Worth.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to plug Wayne Worth. I'm just telling you the
Dude,
truth.
that dude is legit.
You talk about a guy. I don't know a guy who loves the state of West Virginia more than that guy right
He
there.
loves people.
In general.
I mean, he literally loves people.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, back on your thing about bikers and doing things, raising money for charity. Just another prime example. We had the American Legion convention, state convention down in Huntington. The American Legion riders this year, just the riders alone, raised $1,000 for Boy State.
That's awesome.
I love Boy
That
State.
represents 5 boys going to Boy State this year.
And I'll tell you what, when I
That's
went to
just from the riders.
Yeah, and I went to Boy State, and it was a fantastic experience. I stayed in the Braxton thing down there, the cabin.
Yeah.
Braxton.
You got
I remember.
invited to that?
Yeah, I believe it or not, somehow I don't know how I did that. My dad must have been pulling some strings or something. I don't know.
He wanted you out of the house.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I need to go somewhere.
Or he said, you need to go somewhere, boy. Bye.
Hey,
I want to say one thing real quick. Rogan Radio, you guys, last 2 years have been awesome. The Chrissy and I to help us promote this ride, and then you did the PSA for us this year, which turned out to be really well, and that's going to be aired on the 2 TV stations in this area. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
I wouldn't even think about doing anything less.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's my pleasure. Absolutely all of our pleasures. Because like I said, it's all this collective. We've all been somehow in anything you need, Clinton. You know what? Double bass. That's what we were talking about before the show.
Double bass. What does that mean? Double bass.
Double
What
bass.
is that?
Double
Okay,
bass.
when I was in 8th grade, and I was telling Clinton this outside. I was in 8th grade. I was going off. I learned how to play saxophone, and I switched to percussion. Okay, so there was one guy in Shinston that knew how to play the trap set, and that was Clinton Monroe. If you wanted to watch a drummer, you watched Clinton Monroe. And Clinton Monroe had a double bass. Well, if you look at a trap set, you normally have a one bass, the big drum on the bottom. Clinton had 2. And there was only one person that I knew before that.
This was back in the day.
Right.
Back in
Alex
the day.
Van Halen from Van Halen. He was the drummer, and he had a double bass. And he was the only one I ever saw with a double bass. Clinton Monroe had that. So we went up, Mr. Rowe, who was the music instructor. That's why I was asking Clinton.
Best guy ever.
Oh, he was something funny. But he would let Clinton bring his double bass, and this thing was Jesus Christmas. It was as long as a Cadillac. I mean, I don't know how many pieces were in that thing, but it was a ginormous drum set. But to get both feet, and this is what is great. it's hard enough to be a drummer to appreciate music in general. I don't care if you're playing saxophone or clarinet, to know in your head to do this and know what keys to hit. But when you're a drummer, you're not only responsible for the rhythm of the band. I mean, you're the rhythm of the band.
You keep the beat, man.
You keep the beat.
Keep the beat.
But your brain has to listen and control this separately, and in Clinton's case, both these separately, not only with the hi-hat say, but he was doing double bass and a hi-hat somehow.
See, yeah,
I don't know how the hell he's doing it. He's
like got two sides to my brain.
He was like that's what I'm saying. He's like a magician.
He's like a savant.
Hey,
I got a question. I got a question for you, Chuck.
David D had something here.
David D.
That's what I'm getting
reminds
ready to bring up. Do you know who actually starts our show every Sunday?
Yep.
Is that the one with you?
The man sitting right beside you.
You're in that?
The
David D
drum
said he's
roll.
on the drums at CC Rider at the beginning of the show.
That's you, Clinton, right here? Oh, Clinton can't hear it.
Yep, CC Rider.
Let's see. This is Clinton Monroe right here on the drums. Clinton can't even hear it.
David D with the
Let's see.
preview.
That's freaking Clinton Monroe right there.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, that's the show for this evening.
Hey, you ever going to tell us what that?
we do
You ever
have-
going to tell us what that Russian said?
No, we were just. I didn't even finish introductions because we got on this rampage about cancer, and I want to kick its ass. Oh yeah, basically
We do have one more ride that we want to go ahead and talk about and everything. The American Legion Riders that Darren's a part of and everything. It's called Shell Strong Ride. It's on July 29th. Registrations are from 10 to noon. The last bike's out at noon. Registration's $20. Passenger is $10. All proceeds are going for the care of Michelle James, Lincoln High School student and avid dancer of the Instep School of Dance. She was diagnosed with leukemia. The ride starts at Post 31 in Shinston. The second stop will have an optional $15 chicken dinner. Now, that $15 will actually go to help with that rider post. The after party is going to be at Parker's on 4th Street in downtown Clarksburg, but that's July 29th.
It's coming up. It's a day after bike night, right?
Yep.
28th for
Yep.
you guys.
Yeah.
Day after bike night.
All right, so once again, let's run down this real quick. We have August 12th. We have the Bikers for a Cure Ride for Life. Starting at 10 o'clock, it's going to be $10 for each rider.
$15.
15. Oh, all right.
And $10 for the rider.
Yeah.
That's right. And then you get breakfast at the Roadhouse, and then you ride 130 miles. And then after that, you have the big party with biker games and everything else.
At the Best Western.
At the Best Western
in Bridgeport.
And we also have these tickets. Let's do this way. Let's do this way, too.
We need to.
How are we going to do this?
Do we have enough people online now?
I don't know.
We got
Seems like
17.
a
Hey, who wants to win some tickets?
You ready for we'll just call somebody.
Do we have enough to wait till next week, or is it like?
No, it's
Yeah,
actually
it's
this
Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
We have midget tickets to give away right now.
Midget wrestling.
Midget wrestling in Salem.
Micro wrestling.
And we
Little
can,
people
and we can say
wrestling.
this
Yeah.
because on their shirts it says "I support midget wrestling." We're
See,
not being
midget,
cruel.
midget.
They actually throw it out there like that, so no, we don't want any blast emails or anything.
Yeah.
So how are we going to How are we going to do this? Is somebody going to call in, or is we going to do a trivia question, or are we going to Well, we can't pull a name out of a hat.
Let's just call somebody.
Three. There's
Well,
going
you
to
know
be
what?
three separate
somebody,
contests
somebody,
or one.
somebody have to be
Who's on there?
serious enough that
To
they
go.
want to take.
No, who's on there right
Yeah.
now? Who can give me somebody? We'll
I
just
could
call
always
them up.
play this Japanese tune, and I could say.
Just
tell
call
us
me
what
up.
they're
Give me a
doing.
name. Give me a name. We'll call him up.
Donnie Everett.
No, Donnie's
I'm
in
just
Maryland.
joking.
Donnie's
I'm
going to
just
Salem.
I'm just joking.
Husted still listening? He was earlier.
Listen, if you want to go down to Salem,
James Richards.
if you're in Salem,
Tell them to call our
Deb
show
Kelly?
right now.
give me a text right now on the Rogan Radio thing here. Just
Which
send-
is
No. Don't even as a comment on the
on
show.
the comment.
We're not even going to mess
Okay.
around with the phones because that takes too long.
Yeah, okay.
Give us a comment. Just go ahead and say you want to go watch midget wrestling in Salem, which would be pretty cool. Actually,
Randy Scott, you are, and I'm sorry to say, disqualified.
Randy Scott's down in Florida. Now, if he would come back, listen, we're not going to
Yeah,
fly
if he's coming
back.
in, then you're qualified. But sorry,
This
Randy
is going to
Scott.
be Thursday at 9 o'clock is when this starts. Brucey, where's it at?
The Rivera Cottage Corner, they are also known as RCC. Just ask for a Cottage Corner.
Yeah.
Everybody would know.
The College Corner
Right there in
Salem.
Salem.
Once again, we have the Big Ride for Life with the Bikers for a Cure over on the August 12th. It's registration's at 10 o'clock. $15 a rider, $25 for two. You're going to get all your. You're going to get your breakfast.
Randy says, "What do you call a really big midget?"
I don't, Randy. I
A really tall midget.
Did we? How are they doing this?
WV, just anybody that writes something down right there. Something on the I want to go.
Jonathan Del Rio said, "I want to go."
Call him up, Jimmy.
Is he on here?
Yeah. And we have West Virginia, WVBikersForACure.com. That's right. So go ahead. For all your information, you can go ahead and do that there. WVBikersForACure.com. Check that out.
You know, I hope, even if you know, if as long as one person shows up that we reach tonight to help you guys get this done. Uh-oh. That sounds like a message.
We're not contacts on here. So.
You know, it's a success. You know?
Absolutely.
Phone book?
Come on.
Oh.
Can you just, I don't know how to do that. We want to call him and tell him he won. Jonathan Del Rio of Lumberport.
Hold on, let me look. Is he in your contacts?
Have him send a
probably.
text or...
Yeah, I think he is, actually.
Just
Janice
email.
Richards says, hi, Christine.
Just an email.
Okay.
He's not. You're in
Hello,
his email.
Janice. Hello, Randy. Hello, Carol.
You only have Jonathan's email.
Well, just get his email. I mean, if we're
Okay,
going...
yeah. Hey, listen.
Is that one or all three?
All three. We'll do it.
Okay, because I got somebody else too.
Oh, who?
Oh, did?
Kevin B.
Call him up.
Kevin B.
Here's the phone number.
Right here, write it down. Hold on. We're going to call somebody right now. Let them know that they just won big tickets.
One big tickets to a little event.
One big tickets to a little wrestling. Midget wrestling in Salem.
You know what? I think I'm going to go anyway.
I think.
Are you going, Bruce?
I'll be there.
Me and Megan will be there.
Okay.
Oh, there's Jonathan Del Rio right there, Jimmy. Hold on. Okay, answer.
Yeah. Jonathan Del Rio.
Hey, Chuck.
What's up, baby?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Hey, man, you just won a couple tickets to go see some wrestling down in Salem. How about that action?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Hey,
you
listen,
said.
I'll be wearing stilts down there because these little dudes will kick your ass.
Probably.
I'm telling you what. Listen, hey,
plus, I'm a midget too, so I'm pretty good at that.
Well, I tell you what, man. I have never been to midget wrestling, but I can guarantee you this is going to be a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, so you jacked up, ready to go for this, huh?
Huh?
You ready to rock this out down in Salem?
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, you just won yourself. We want to get 2 or 3. How many you want? You want 2 or 3 tickets?
3.
3? Boom.
3 it is. All right.
3 it is.
They're all yours.
Jonathan Del Rio, you have just won yourself 3 tickets down in Salem to go see what's the actual
Midget.
Micropalooza.
Micropalooza.
Very good. All right, brother. We got these things right here. You want to come up and get them tomorrow, or do you want me to bring them down to you?
Well, I mean, I can walk there now.
Okay. Hey, listen.
Me to.
Come on, walk on up. I'll give them to you right now.
All
right, brother. I'll see you in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jonathan Del Rio of Lumberport, West Virginia. Just picked himself up 3 tickets to the Micro Wrestling Federation World Tour Championship Ring Battle in Salem, West Virginia.
Are they going to have ring girls?
Oh, and are they going to be little people?
They have a little. They might have a little girls. Yeah.
They have little girls.
Bruce, wait a minute. Midget, yeah, I wouldn't say you're going to see little girls. Midget girls.
You know what? We got
a little different.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, folks. We're still trying to teach him American slang.
I want to see little girls.
Once again, August 12th, we have the Bikers for a Cure Ride for Life happening up at the Roadhouse starting at 10 o'clock. If you want any more information, go to WV Bikers for a Cure on what's the date there? On the 20th, this coming Thursday down in Salem. The Micro Federation Wrestling Tour will be down there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Bruce will be there.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Darren Hardman, Chad Pupapuccio, we never did get to the entire introduction.
That's okay. Just go through it real quick right now.
To Christy, to Derek, to Brucey, to Jimmy Wiz from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Talkback, Clinton Monroe. Chrissy, you have something to say?
Thank you to Rogan Radio for having us.
Our pleasure. Rogan Radio's pleasure.
And for your donation.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Love you
our
guys.
pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Rogan Radio.
Well, I believe it be surprised to see you. Brother, you've been blind. Oh, walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Now let me spend a day throwing stones at one another. Cause I don't think I'm gonna wear my hair, bro, the same way you do. Well, I may be just common people, but I'm your brother. And when you strike out to try to hurt me, it's a hurting you. Lord have mercy, walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, baby. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah. Now there are people on the reservations, and they're out in the ghettos. And brother, there, before the grace of God, I go you and I. Now if I only had the wings of a little angel, don't you know I'd fly to the top of a mountain, and then I'd cry in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Don't. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Don't. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. One more time, baby. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Well,